going to start this morning with our opening hymn. It's going to be number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Brazos Addae, UUCBV, or Brazos UU for short. My name is Cat Wild, and my pronouns are she, they. We are a welcoming congregation, which means we celebrate and welcome all people of diverse sexual orientations and gender identities. We also strive to welcome people across diversities of race, age, ability, immigration status, and belief. We are also a congregation working for reproductive justice. So, whoever you are, wherever you have come from, and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here.
Good morning. Good morning. Today, we begin the walk to Jerusalem, the Holy Week. The demand that we face the darkness, the broken path, and the abuse of power. Today we walk toward the day spring breaking through, the Easter day of joy. So let us prepare the way. Let us join together this morning in worship to see what holiness resides within and about us, to welcome in the day and make straight the path for justice. So let us worship together.
I'd like to invite Corey Chapman up for the chalice lighting. Please say our chalice lighting words with me. They'll be on the screens. We light the chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, as a beacon of hope for all who seek justice, dignity, and compassion, and in celebration of the life of truth and meaning we share together. Now all please join me in saying Love is the spirit of his church, and service is his gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Now we're going to sing hymn number 123, Spirit of Love.
As Unitarian Universalists, we believe there is a spark of the divine in every person. Please take a moment to greet the neighbors around you.
That's what we should tell us.
Practice. One more. I am so uncoordinated that balancing all that was actually an accomplishment, so I'm proud of myself. My name is Allison Baker, and I am the Director of Religious Education here. I use she, her pronouns, and I am in my 30s with glasses on my face. Today I have a wonderful story about finding your inner voice, the power inside of you. It is called Say Something by Peter Reynolds. The world needs your voice. Mine? Yes, yours. Go ahead. It doesn't need to be perfect as long as it's from your heart. You don't have to be loud. Powerful words can be a whisper. You can say something in so many ways, with words, with action, with creativity. If you see someone lonely, say something by just being there for them. If you see an empty canvas, say something with your brush. If you see an empty lot, say Say something by planting a seed and watching it bloom. If you see someone being hurt, say something by being brave. Hey, stop! That one's hard. If you see something beautiful, say something with a poem. This person's poem says, painted meadows splashed with rainbows. It looks like that when I drive on the highway these days, I think. If you have a brilliant idea, say something with confidence. Eureka! If you want to show the world who you are, say something with your style. Ta-da! If you are angry, say something to help people understand. So they say, you made me feel invisible. That really hurt. And the other person says, I'm really sorry. If you see an injustice, say something peacefully. Inspire others to do the same. Sometimes you'll say something and no one will be listening. But keep saying what is in your heart, and you will find someone who listens. Keep saying it, and you may be surprised to find the whole world listening. If you are grateful for being alive, quietly say something to the stars, to the universe. Some people find it easier to say something than others. Is it hard for anybody to say something in here? Yeah. But everyone has something to say. So when you're ready, say something. Your voice can inspire, heal, and transform. Your voice can change the world. Are you ready to say something? And that's the question I'll leave you with this week. Will all the younger UUs join me in the back of the room for religious education? And the rest of you can see us out of this little light of mine.
What a difference a day makes. Now that might be confusing because that's what I tell people. I'll wait to remember my name. What a difference a day makes. But we're talking about a day in a week. No matter what religious belief system you do claim, or whether you don't claim one at all, everyone in the Western world is aware that in the Christian Catholic system, today is Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday is the final Sunday of Lent, the beginning of Holy Week, and commemorates the triumphant arrival of Jesus in Jerusalem before the Jewish holiday of Passover, days before he was crucified. There is joyful enthusiasm from the crowd as they process into Jerusalem, running before Jesus, spreading their clothes and palms on the ground, shouting, Hosanna, which is literally a plea to God, meaning, save us. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, Hosanna. This image brings to mind the line from the book of Zechariah in the Jewish scriptures, where the prophet describes a victorious king who enters Jerusalem. And I quote, lowly and riding on a colt, the foal of a donkey, end quote. In Judaism, this passage is taken to refer to the Messiah, a spiritual king who would peacefully redeem Israel. The donkey that Jesus rode into Jerusalem on is in and of itself interpreted as a sign of humility. A beast that patiently suffers the weight and burdens of others, unlike horses that tend to be associated with royalty and war. Moreover, the palm branch has been associated with triumph and victory at athletic contests, victorious generals, and triumphant kings welcoming their return hundreds of years before Jesus. Consequently, these Gospels, narratives, left Christians throughout the centuries with two important images for Palm Sunday: the procession with palm branches and the donkey, one associated with triumph and victory, and the other with quiet humility. But why do we retell this story year after year? We know that it holds some significance for Christians, but there seems to be some tension amongst some Unitarian Universalists around embracing the wisdom that can be gleaned from our Judeo-Christian heritage. Unitarian Universalists have a proud history of heretical teachings about the nature of Jesus and his importance. As religious liberals, we have traditionally welcomed the insights of science, history, and religious scholarship. As consummate skeptics, we have not usually allowed ourselves to cling too firmly to claims that could not be supported by reason. The great 20th century theologian James Luther Adams writes, and I quote, "Jesus in his inwardness, in his love of persons, and the audacity of his liberation from the bondage of mere tradition, makes more readily known to us the powers that can release us from self-worship and give us constant renewal of life and love." End of quote. Now, whether you find the accounts of his life historically factual, fictional, or a combination thereof, we can agree on one thing. The story of Jesus changed the course of history and remains relevant and controversial today. Moreover, if we look closely, there is so much to be learned from his story, because his journey offers wisdom for our own journeys. There's his faithfulness to his unique mission, eliciting a new community in the world, but not of it, above nation and race. Embracing the humble and the wise, trusting in the mysterious mercy of God. His 3-year ministry was ending, but during those 3 years, he spoke plain and simple, using everyday examples and parables so anyone listening could understand. Similarly to the story for all ages that our directors of religious education use during worship services. Jesus maintained a commitment to speak truth to power in the face of oppression and corruption, to preach, teach, and uplift the downtrodden. He turned water into wine, overturned tables of the money changers for disrespecting the house of prayers, healed the sick and blind, fed a multitude of thousands with a few fish and 2 loaves of bread, and raised Lazarus from the grave. He even engaged the priests and scribes in a tight debate, ate and drank with women and the destitute. Moreover, he was a rebel who challenged the status quo and broke all of the established rules. Now, the Jews had been waiting for their redemption from political bondage of foreign power the Greeks and Romans who had long ruled over centuries. They expected their redemption through the Anointed One, the Messiah, and all the miracle working of Jesus had not gone unnoticed. Now, I imagine that his followers were just waiting and hoping for him to claim his place as the promised deliverer of Israel. It's like us believing in a political candidate today, and meanwhile, standing on the sidelines waiting for everyone else to recognize them and to get on board. Surely, he was the king to fulfill the messianic prophecy as foretold by Zechariah. Jesus practiced what he preached. Is it any wonder that he was crucified? However, he stayed the course because he had come with a purpose. And the purpose was carried out in a ministry of only 3 years. As we move throughout what is known as Holy Week, Jesus makes his triumphant entry into Jerusalem with such adulation, and some of the same people who called him Savior are now calling for his crucifixion. And then we have Good Friday, the day of the crucifixion. What a difference a day makes. Now, Saturday is left out of the scriptural accounts altogether. Then it's Easter morning. Did Jesus literally rise from the dead? Did he ascend body intact into heaven? No one is certain about what happens to the body of Jesus. However, I think that's why we retell this story over and over again, because life is uncertain. It's full of turning points, some that we expect and plan for, and many that we have absolutely no control over. We're called again and again to put ourselves forward, to embrace life, and move through the hurt and pain we experience, to move on to something new, redeeming that pain by how we live. We're always called to search life for meaning in the midst of adversity. Theologian Howard Thurman advises that the world needs people who have come alive. And we need not ask what the world needs, but ask ourselves, what makes us come alive and go out and do it? The Jesus story is universal. It symbolizes our hope for new life, emerging out of the midst of death and despair. Surely, as spring follows winter, we are called to life again. The story is about reviving pieces of ourselves. Life is a series of deaths, large and small. When we face a serious illness, or when we find that a career is not what we hoped for, or in times when we lose a loved one through death, or an important relationship comes to an end, or that nothing that we dreamed of has come to fruition. We're thrown unexpected curveballs and don't know what to do. We may try to find meaning, get angry, or try to negotiate with the holy. But in the end, we come to know once again that there is a limit as to how much control we have in any given situation. We know full well that we need to make some kind of change, but life feels comfortable, and when that happens, we don't want to make change. No one wants to make change. It's too difficult. We negotiate with ourselves. We talk ourselves into believing that even if our current situation isn't right, it's better to be comfortable. It's better than the unknown. It's better to be sorry than to take a risk. The story of the crucifixion may not be so much of what happened to Jesus as to what happened to his followers. His death and continued presence among them and gave them new life. It's as if they were not so much as resurrected from death as they were from deadness. Parts of them were dead and now they were alive. And with their newfound life, they preached the words of Jesus. And I quote, "Unless you die unto yourself, your life cannot be saved. Come into your power through surrender. Give up control, and you will receive all that you need." End of quote. I know that's not easy, but in the human drama of life, it's something that we are asked to do over and over again. In our humanness, we're sometimes fragile and broken, and finding hope must sometimes seem impossible. In the story of Jesus, it only took 3 days, but liberation theologian Dorothy Soul tells us that waiting for our resurrection requires a revolutionary patience, because there are no guarantees in the work of the resurrection. But it is necessary. We don't know how, when, or where the miracle of resurrection will take us, because all of it is beyond our control. However, in the end, all we can do is participate, knowing that there's something in our lives that we want to bring back to life. We're called to ask, what are those things that keep us from being who we are? What are those things that we would need to give up? Now, Kathleen Norris writes, and I quote, "We must be led someplace we never dreamed of going, a place we don't want to be." She continues saying, "We'll find ourselves there one day, opened like leaves, and it will be all right." End of quote. So, on this Palm Sunday morning, may the ears of our ears awake and the eyes of our eyes be opened, for believers or non-believers, for Christians and non-Christians alike. May you be willing, even knowing the fickle and tenuous nature of life, and that any one of us can have our fortunes and our lives change dramatically overnight. Death comes first, to be reborn again and again. From my heart to yours, may it be so. And now, join in singing hymn number 298. Stand forward, rise as you are, sit as you are able, and wait now my senses, number 298.
Yeah.
today. First is that today is the Trans Day Visibility Picnic. It's at 3 o'clock right here. So come and celebrate with the Pride Center and the Trans Joy Project. There will be activities for kids and there will be lots of food. Next week is Easter, so remember to bring something that you made that can keep a raw egg safe as it's launched to the air for our annual egg launch. Make sure you ask Reverend Kaya or Allison for any information on that. Now, let an offering be taken to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. This church shares the proceeds of the offering plate donation every week to help support important nonprofit organizations with which we work. The 4 groups we voted to support with this year's donation are the African American Museum, Brazos Valley Blessings, the Pride Center, and the Brazos Mobile Food Pantry. We vote on this every May at our congregation meeting.
She wants to be a painter, but she only ever paints when she's alone, by the fire in the bathroom of her home. She finds so much beauty in the colors, but she's afraid that it won't be found by others. So she sits there, hour after hour in that same chair, drawing shapes no one will ever see. And as she paints, she hums a melody. It goes on, it goes on.
each other. May your generosity return to you tenfold. Now, please join me in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, but the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we gather together again.
Now you can all join me in singing our benediction. Remember the way of the wind and breathe and blow. Remember the way of the fire, sparkle and glitter and glow. Remember the way of the water and ebb and flow. Remember the way of the earth and grow. Go in peace.
It was nothing you said or did. I was just feeling a coughing fit coming on.